Let's go back to the phone lines. We'll talk next to Irving in Tucson, Arizona. Hi, Irving.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thank you.
My question is, in the book of Job, I know that God gave Satan permission to, make his life horrible. And I also know that Satan's in charge, but he's not in control. So my question is God still giving Satan permission to do things like to people still to this day, or...
Well, first of all, the story in Job is a non-normative story, and it is meant to convey something about the nature and knowledge of God and our relationship to Him. And ultimately, what we find in the book of Job is the fact that we are called to trust God in the midst of our maladies because we simply do not know what is going on in the heavenlies. And this is amplified when in Job, God thunders out of the storm and says, "You don't even know how I give a single drop of dew its existence. You don't understand that. And if you don't understand that, you can't understand what's going on in the heavenlies." As someone has well said, trying to explain me to you or God to men is like trying to explain Einstein to a small-necked clam. You simply wouldn't get it. So the issue is that God has given us enough knowledge about Himself that we can trust Him. And that's the point. So we don't have knowledge about what's going on in the heavenlies. So if this is a non-normative event, we are not permitted to say that God in the present continues to give Satan the prerogative to inflict harm upon us because this is non-normative. It may be that in God's counsel as a possibility, but we simply don't know, and therefore we're not at liberty to say.
Yeah, because I had a discussion not too long ago with a friend of mine, and I was telling them, I said, because they were saying that why do these things happen? I thought, God is so good, why does He let it happen? And I told them, I said, from the beginning of time, we chose against God, so we put Satan in charge. So how could you blame God for something?
Well, I don't know that you can say we put Satan in charge. What we can say is that we live in a fallen world, and in that fallen world, we're subject to the world, the flesh, and the devil. And there's an antidote to all three. It's not our job to figure out which is the temptation or where the malady comes from, but we know what the antidote is, and that is to put on the full armor of God so that we can stand not only against the wiles of the evil one, but also against the world and the flesh.
Okay. All right. That answers that.
By the way, I've written actually about this using Job as the example in my book, The Covering, God's Plan to Protect You from Evil.
Okay, thank you.
You got it.